So it gives me great pleasure to welcome today Jules White. Hello, Jules. How are you?
Hello, David. I am very well, thank you. Really
Good,
pleased to be here. Thank you.
good, good, good. Obviously, Jules is we're going to have a discussion on the concepts through your eyes. So we're going to sort of see the world through Jules's eyes with regards to how she's developed herself and future-proofed herself through her career, what she's learned along the way, what's gone well, what hasn't perhaps gone so well, perhaps a few stories she shouldn't tell us, but I'm sure we'll drag a few things out. And then obviously to finish off with, actually Jules got a little surprise halfway through. She's going to talk to us about her book, which I'm excited to find out more about. And then at the end, we'll find out from Jules about how she sees the future and how she's continuing to develop herself and proof herself for the rest of her career. So if we could just start with, if you could just give us a brief overview of your career to date.
Oh my goodness, David. So I've got to try and keep this fairly short, even though it's a lot of years.
Nah, can't be that many.
Yeah,
Can't be
thank
that
you.
many.
I'll take that one. So I started off actually, I left school at 16. So of course, in my day, you could do that. You can't now. And I went to work straight away at NatWest Bank. That was my first job. £3,200 a year salary. A year.
Got to say that again.
£3,200 a year salary.
What, what did you spend it all on?
Oh gosh, lots of things. So from there, I kind of loved the bank because it was just this wonderful learning ground of being in business, getting a wage, learning lots. But soon realised I didn't want to stay in banking. I wanted to widen my kind of avenues. I then went into accounts, would you believe, for a car seat company, Recaro Car Seats. If anyone's
Wow.
ever followed cars, racing, they'll know Recaro seats. They just come to the UK and opened up a factory in Birmingham. And I was in that factory, and I was heading up accounts and wages and everything. And so that was fun. But again, definitely didn't want to stay in accounts. Ended up at a stainless steel company, still in accounts, and then got friendly with the sales manager, which was the best thing I ever did, because he said to me, you shouldn't be in accounts, Jules, you should be in sales. And so my sales career started at the tender age of 18. And really that career's always been in sales, David, but it's been in lots of different sectors and industries, which I'm very grateful for, because it's really given me this breadth of view of sales.
Yeah.
But from Yellow Pages, I served my time, 3 years I did at Yellow Pages, which was real long, hardcore.
That's proper
And
grounding, that
proper
was.
grounding, yeah, great training, hardcore selling. You have to hit the targets. There's a lot of pressure. It was a great learning ground. And then from there, I went into hospitality. I sold corporate hospitality, all the sporting events and helicopter rides in. I've sold exhibition stands, digital marketing, recruitment. I mean, the list actually goes on and on. And then I had a little boy when it was 2005. I had a little boy, Sam. And at that moment in time, I thought I need to be with my baby. Fabulous time. And 3 months after he was born, decided to start a business of my own.
Brilliant. What great timing.
I know. So
Well,
then I
you
was
had nothing else to do, did you?
exactly. It was just a breeze, wasn't it, being a new mum? But I just felt this business would help me be with my baby, which was why I started. It was Party Plan selling baby products, and no one else was doing it. They were doing Tupperware and makeup and everything else, but not baby products. So I thought, I've got to do this. This will be great. And of course, then in a moment of madness, went into Dragon's Den and pitched it to the Dragons. There's another story. And then after that, I grew it to £1 million business with 430 odd consultants across the country. So
Wow.
had a huge journey in that part of my career of entrepreneurship. Working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And actually, at the end of it all, I lost everything, which was another story, but it was very sad. But
Yeah.
again, it's what then makes you who you are. So at that point, that was 2008, I went
Yeah.
back to work and I got a job back in sales. So
Gosh.
started again, and worked in a venue. So I was selling space and hotel rooms, and there was a spa, golf course. and it was fantastic. I was then a head of sales, I was then a sales director. So then, of course, I got that journey through seniority in sales, learning how to lead in sales, leading up to a redundancy 3 years, nearly 4 years ago, where I said, I am not working for anyone ever again. And I started this business, which is now a sales consultancy where I train and mentor whoever wants to be trained and mentored in sales.
Brilliant. And if anyone does, you can see Jules's link on the on the details on the YouTube channel. So we'll add those in, obviously. So what has learning and development meant to you along the way through your career?
I think it's been really interesting for me personally, because I would say I've had the least amount of L&D, learning and development, given to me. I've had to learn a lot myself, David.
Through experiences.
Through experiences, and I don't know whether it's just perhaps my generation. I think when I was younger, we didn't necessarily get put on so much to development, and we certainly didn't get personal development, which I think you get more of now. So everything I learned was pretty much on the job, to be honest. But maybe that's why I'm even more passionate about assisting with that learning now.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. That sort of learning through all those great experiences, really important. So, but is there anything you'd wish you'd have known at the start of your career?
Yeah.
Which would have made life just that little bit easier.
So I've got to go through a very long list now, David, of what I want to say to you. No, I think what would I have wanted to learn? Oh gosh, I think I would have liked to have had slightly better leaders, really. Honestly, in my career.
No, I just got to stop there. I'm just thinking of my first ever sales director.
Yeah. Honestly, and I think there was such a lot to learn from them being bad leaders, actually, when you think about it. But it would have been really nice to have had this really very cool mentor that I would have been inspired by, I think, as I was getting older. But I honestly can't say I had particularly one person who really stood out. I had a couple of great managers, but I didn't have that, that one person sometimes that you have in your life and you think, they helped me to be who I was. I don't think I honestly had that, really.
Yeah. So what have you enjoyed the most?
About my career?
Yeah.
I think the variation is when I think I've been really lucky to sell in lots of different markets, lots of different types of products, services and products. And so I've seen so many angles of sales that a lot of people might not have seen if they perhaps stayed more into a set industry or sector. And I think that's wonderful that I've had that experience and been through recessions, of course, because when you get to my age, you've been through recessions, more than one. And being able to sell through a recession successfully has been fairly, again, hardcore, really, which is good. Which in some ways, David, makes me not so scared about this current situation, I think, which... It sounds very flippant, but I think it's just, I kind of take each day as it comes, and I know what works.
Sell your way out of it.
Yeah, and I just...
Sell! Well, sell!
Maybe I don't... Maybe that was why my old manager that we were talking about.
Get out there and sell!
So, but no, I think I've been really lucky to have the variety that I had.
So what's your favourite sector?
Oh, got to be retail. It's just got to be.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it's because my dad ran a sweet shop as I was growing up.
Oh.
And
I bet you were the envy of all your friends.
I was.
Can I come to tea?
Everybody knew my dad.
Yeah.
But I think just watching him and that relationship in the retail environment was wonderful. It's where I fell in love with sales, because he was hugely charismatic. But equally, when I started Truly Madly Baby, which was my business, my Dragon's Den business, that was retail. And so this is what I loved. I knew how retail worked. I knew how to turn stock. I knew how to see what clients loved to buy. Yeah. And that was my dad's gift that he gave me. So that's got to be my first love, I think.
Yeah, mine would have been to actually. I wouldn't necessarily want to do it now, but I'd love to have been that job you had at a venue.
Oh yes,
Um,
yes,
I know
yeah,
it's damn hard work, and it is very challenging. I work for some hotel companies, or did.
yeah,
Bless them, they're having such a hard time. But
yeah.
yeah, that's always a really lovely venue. I think that would have been sort of I'm sure it's a lot harder than it sounds. A lot harder
Well,
than it sounds.
it is hard, but at the same time, you do have this beautiful product that's
Yeah,
relatively easy to sell. And you
yeah,
could do things like show round. As the minute you've got a show round, as we used to
yeah,
call it, you could just sell
yeah.
the story of that
I like
venue,
that. Yeah, selling stories.
which was fantastic. And it was very like retail in that you were
Yeah,
just selling the experience.
yeah,
And I think that's why I loved it there too,
yeah.
definitely.
So,
Yeah.
what's been your biggest challenge? I think you've got a few to choose from.
Well, I think it was losing my business really when I got to that year three, and we had just because we'd been on Dragon's Den, we had grown immensely very quickly, and we hadn't got the foundations in place to manage the business that we'd grown. It was a monster. And so my business partner at the time, who wasn't the dragon, because I got investment from Peter Jones, but we didn't do the deal.
Yeah,
My business partner at the time said, "I'll put in whatever you need to get the next stage working and all the foundations going, but I want 75% of your business." And
mm.
that was just really such a blow because I
So
built it all myself, really.
yeah. So
Yeah.
did it grow just too quickly?
Yeah, I think so. And of
It's
course, I was,
crazy when you say that, though, isn't it? When you think about it, but I get the total reality of it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So imagine it's a retail business. I'm working in it, not on it. I'm doing everything. I'm marketing, I'm recruiting, I'm picking the products, I'm making a catalogue, I'm actually picking and packing on some days.
gosh.
So I was doing everything with a small baby. So I wasn't watching that growth. I knew we
Mm.
were getting busier, but then I didn't have the facilities to
Yeah,
stock check, didn't have the stocks that we needed, and didn't have the staff to run any of that business with me. So
yeah,
then all of a sudden, what happens is you bottleneck, and then you can't manage it unless you invest some cash in to getting it sorted. And that was the next level of cash we needed. And
yeah,
as I say, she wanted 75% of my
mm,
business, so I said
yeah,
no.
yeah,
And then she ended it all for me.
yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what you're doing now
Yes.
and your book, which I'm very intrigued to learn lots more about.
Book. Yeah, so my book, well, what I'm doing now is I started, as I say, I had a redundancy, so 3 months money. Okay, David. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing it now. And I thought I'll be a coach. And of course, I had a chat with an old Yellow Pages boss, and he said to me, "What are you going to coach? That's brilliant. What are you going to coach?" And I went, "Everything, anything.
Yeah, I can do that.
I've seen it all," I said. And he sort of looked at me and smiled and he said, "Look, why aren't you doing something in sales, Jules? You've always been so good at it." And I just thought, blimey, I've done it for 30 years. Why would I want to do sales? And then I kind of had this light bulb moment and I thought, well, sales is what I know.
Mm,
But I needed to invent sales in a different way, David, from how I had been trained to do it, because I never did what I was really told to do, and I was very successful. So I started to look at what was it that I did. And then I created this methodology, which was live it, love it, sell it.
yeah, wonderful.
And then that's the book. So I wrote the book, and that's my coaching program. And then, yeah, other things are sort of have evolved from that as well. So.
Yeah. So the book, is that all about your ideas and experiences? Tell us a little bit more about
Yeah,
how you actually wrote it.
yeah. So the book is about what I call the sales road trip. So it was all about the fact that we had to start with us in sales. So the live it is, are you fit to travel the sales road trip? So this is you. What's your
Mm,
why? Why do you run your business? What's the purpose, belief, and the deeper meaning? So that's what live it looks at. And then love it's about your client, your ideal client, and the same, what's their why? So you're sort of connecting yourself on that value level of your client, which is a really lovely piece in the book because that's when everything starts to make a lot of sense. So you're
yeah.
not trying to sell to everyone, you're actually selling to the right person with the right solution. And then sell it is about getting visible, helping, showing up. No pushing, no processes, no cold calling. The book's not about that. The book's about human conversation and creating connection as
Yeah.
humans, which is the exciting bit.
Yeah, very much so. And I know when we spoke last time that we're sort of saying that, you know, sometimes sales isn't seen in the UK as a profession,
Yeah,
which I've never really got my head around, because surely we're selling all the time, although
yeah,
people don't like to use that word.
yeah.
And also, you know, a lot of the work that I'm doing is helping people finding jobs in difficult situations at the moment. I'm saying, yeah, but, and I always use the word, what about selling yourself? And they go, oh, no thanks.
Yeah,
Do I have to talk about myself? Well, it's a good idea if you do, because then people will be able to know something about you. And
yeah.
we just do that towards it. And I've never understood it.
Well, it's a dirty word, isn't it, really? That's the trouble. And I think it's come from us seeing very bad, sleazy salespeople being sold too badly, and that feeling, when you're just being sold to. We've all had that. And that's the bit we hold on to when we hear sales. So
Yeah,
it's about busting myths around what sales truly is, because it's
yeah,
about making relationships ultimately. So I love that when you're speaking to the guys that you speak to about getting new jobs, or these difficult times, and selling themselves. I love that you're doing that work, because we should find it easy to sell ourselves. We should
yeah,
embrace who we are, and we should value that. So I
yeah.
like that. I love that.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I always say to people, you know, you're a subject matter expert in your profession as an accountant, as an architect, or whatever, but then you need to be a subject matter on yourself so you
Yeah,
can promote and sell yourself, and
yeah.
it's a big no-no. So how long did it take you to write your book?
It took me a year, almost to the day. And I was just writing each month alongside growing the business. Because
Yeah,
imagine, I started my business in 2017 and I published my book in 2018. So I was doing everything at once, as usual, as Jules White does. And I had a fabulous writing coach. So each month she kept me accountable. She checked in. I knew what I was writing that month. And that was amazing. That was so
yeah,
helpful, and it helped the structure of the book as well. So
yeah,
it was
brilliant.
great. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Okay, so we're in a bit of a tough times at the moment, whether you're looking for new positions, if you're in sales or run your own business. And I'm always sort of, yeah, how do we get out there and, you know, wave our flag, as I always call it. So what next for Jules, and how can she help the world to sell its way out of its current situation? You know, pitch it to us, sell it to us,
Sell it to us, David.
knock our socks off.
Do you know what? I'm excited about the future of sales, actually, which is a really strange thing to say, because what's happened for me is everything I've talked about sales being, now people are starting to talk about it in the same way. Oh, well, actually, we need to be empathetic. Oh, we need to have conversations now. We probably shouldn't chase the target like we used to before. And I'm going, yes, yes, because that's what I teach. That's what I push people to understand about sales, is that it's not about what targets you hit and the revenue you bring. It's about people, because people buy people. And we
Yeah,
know that. We've heard that a million times. So the point now is sales is about humans, and the humans are the people who produce your revenue. So you think about it. Stop chasing the revenue and start creating relationships with the humans where they are now. Meet them where they are now and understand their world, and you will find those revenues double, treble, even more.
yeah,
It's absolutely a fact. I've done it with teams that I've worked with in the past where we were way below target, and by not chasing the target and focusing on what was really important, the human part, we smashed the targets. So
yeah,
I'm excited about sales, because now it's about pulling all of our life skills that we already have out of the bag.
yeah.
That's what sales is now about.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, wonderful. So that's fascinating. That's wonderful. It's great to hear. Perhaps we should have all those different organisations you've worked with over the past. There must be quite a wonderful long list of them that you've gained all those sort of stories and experiences from.
Yeah,
Um,
what in my career that I've worked
yeah,
in. Yeah, I mean, I haven't worked with really big names. I mean, Recaro, I mentioned that
yeah,
West, obviously Yellow Pages, but a lot of my businesses in the later years were real lovely SME type businesses,
yeah,
which of course is the gold dust of the UK, isn't it?
yeah,
The
yeah,
SME.
yeah,
So that's been really great as well to have that sort of double experience of
Yeah,
both.
brilliant, brilliant. That's wonderful. So anybody watching this, you can get contact with Jules and she can help you sell your way out of our current situations, which I particularly like the sound of. And yeah, please get in contact. Please get a link to and read her book. And I look forward to seeing, or continuing your journey in terms of selling and developing and helping others for the rest of the year and into next year, which I think is going to be, as you say, fascinating times.
Yeah.
And it's also, sort of, which way do we want to look at it? And sometimes we need to think, well, what we can control? Well, we can only control ourselves. So let's get out there and make the most of it. So thank you very much for your time. It's really
Thank you.
appreciated. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.